Was when this began. Another drink, I start to think the bottle is my friend. My friend. My friend. Long black limousine, won't you drive me home? I've been drinking all damn day, and now I got to go. Now if you see that limousine driving down the street, take my advice, no, don't think twice, call the state police. No. Well, take another drink, the next round is on me. Tequila, whiskey, beer, or gin. Well, I don't care what you think, I'm getting drunk again, and it won't be long. No, 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 it won't be long. Oh, take another drink. The next round is on me. Tequila, whiskey, beer, or gin. Well, I don't care what you think, I'm getting drunk again, and it won't be long. No, 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 it won't be long.
Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Caligiuri, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Whatever you do, get yourself a copy. Here's another thing. If you like signed copies, drop me an email, billy@talkinboxing. That's TALKINBOXING.com, and I'll put you directly in touch with Ian, and you can get yourself a copy, man. So make sure you get that. And the show is also being brought to you in part by the Titty Grab Game. Hey, man, if you like to grab titties as much as I like to grab titties, well, then you got to get your own copy of the Titty Grab Game. And it's real easy. Just visit the website, www.tittygrab.com. And in case you're wondering, it comes with your very own titty. That's right. Check it out, www.tittygrab.com. And if you forget that, you could go see the banner. It's up on the website, BillyCBoxing.com. Today we got some stuff to talk about, of course, and we'll see what goes on later on the show. We're expecting. I didn't go to another Porky Pig English class today, but we will. We'll see what happens. But Dax Khan is expected to join us in a little bit, and also. Well, that's it. We don't have anybody else. I think Dax Khan. We're going to open up the phone lines a little later. I think he's the only one we got scheduled, but we're going to open up the phone lines a little bit later on. Get your thoughts. Now, if you missed the show a couple of times already this week, then you missed our big announcement. We are doing a Fight Week special. It's called Billy C's Mayweather-Alvarez Fight Week special. It starts on Tuesday. Now, we're not going to have a live show on Monday, but beginning Tuesday, regular times, about, I don't know, maybe a half hour, about a half hour once the what am I thinking here? Once the pay-per-view starts, about a half hour before the pay-per-view, so around 8 o'clock, you can tune in to ldltv.com and check us out because we will be broadcasting a replay of the South Senecota, which incidentally has officially been named the comeback of the sport. Actually, the longest comeback. 25 years, 63 days. And it was just announced today. They got their official certificate from the Guinness Book of World Records. So we will be replaying that fight. Now, I called the fight ringside with my man Nate Campbell, so we'll be chatting about that. And then immediately after that fight, we go live. Now, we're going to have the Mayweather and Alvarez fight. No, we're not going to show you video, and we're not going to commentate blow by blow, but we are going to have the phone lines open so that we can discuss the fight as it happens. So it'll be pretty cool. So anyway, it looks like some people are experiencing some issues with the stream again, and that's I apologize. That's YouTube's new and improved version, I guess. They're having some problems, but anyway, growing pains, I guess. You can always go to ldltv.com. For a version as well, and if we have to, we'll go to our backup plan. So we'll do that if we have to at the break. And like I said, if they don't fix their issues, by tomorrow, then come the following Monday, not Monday when we do our special from the luxurious LDL studios in South Florida, but when we come back on Tuesday the 17th, we will kick them to the curb. That's all. That's all. Hey, listen, we don't want any problems with you guys. We want you to like this stream. So, hey, one last thing. I'm going to take a short break. But before that, don't forget about Fight Week next week because we're going to be here's the thing. I know we open up the phone lines a lot here live on the show, and sometimes we get response, sometimes we don't. And sometimes we get a lot of response, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we get no response. Don't be scared next week. It'll be worth your while. We're giving away a lot of stuff, hundreds of dollars worth of prizes, more than probably $1,000 worth of prizes. We're giving away a couple of copies of the games we support, like the Titty Grab game and the Title Bout Championship computer game. And we also got some T-shirts. I think there's some KO Fantasy boxing T-shirts left. We also have some other sponsors, T-shirts, depending upon what size you need. So we're going to be giving away some T-shirts. I am going to give away a signed copy of The Gentleman Boxer. We also have some other books in our stash that we'll be giving away. Blood in My Coffee, the Dr. Ferdy Pacheco book. I think we got a couple of Evander Holyfield books. I also have some, I think Archie Moore. Was it Archie Moore? Yeah, I think it was Archie Moore. I think I have some Archie Moore book. I have one of those books available and some other stuff. So we got a bunch of stuff we're giving away. Is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flow boys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Raselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RaselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IBO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at iboboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts.
Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
Don't have the whole 2 hours, so, and then you could always catch the stream afterwards. But I guess they're just having some growing pains with the new version of the stream. There's some capabilities in there. Maybe the baud rate is too big today. I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, a couple of emails again. We got one here from Jesse. My man Jesse says, "Hey Billy C, I think DeMarco should face the winner of Burns and Beltran, or Aiden and Hammer and Hank Lundy. Is he going to fight at light welterweight? What's your thoughts?" I like DeMarco. You know, I started to like him ever since that fight where he was losing, and they said to him in the 11th round, "Hey, listen, you need a knockout to win. You got to knock him out." And he went, "Oh, okay," and he knocks him out in the 11th round. I became a fan. He's a tough guy. You know, he kind of reminds me of what's his name, the guy that Greg Haugen. He reminds me of Greg Haugen. He's that kind of a fighter to me, you know. I like DeMarco. I think there's a lot of fights for DeMarco. Devin, I doubt Floyd would ever do that. But, you know, this is a response to yesterday. Everybody was coming up, or I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, they were all coming up with ideas for what I could lose if I lose the bet, but nobody was really coming up with anything that they could put up for the gamble. So Devin had a good idea there. So thanks for the email on that one. We also got a couple other emails here. Truth in his words says, "Hey Billy C, I got a question for you. I noticed Adrian Broner seems to be doing things differently from Floyd. He seems to take on tough opponents like DeMarco and now Maidana. Do you think Adrian can be great and be exciting? He seems like he has all the balls. I'm sorry, it says he seems like he has the balls to take on guys like Maidana, who hits like a truck, and Paulie, who gives everyone trouble because of his style. Another thing is he seems more offensive-minded, too. What do you think of Adrian Broner's path so far?" Good point. Good questions, too. Email from Truth in His Word. Well, as far as your you know, what you noticed about him, I agree with you. I think that, you know, I know we had the argument of looking at, well, we didn't really have an argument. We had an argument with a Floyd Mayweather lover, and we were looking at the two fighters and where they were at the same point in their careers, like where Adrian Broner is right now compared to where Floyd was. I agree with what you said. I think Adrian Broner is more offensive minded, and I think he does have either the balls or you know, after the fights and stuff. I think I would have just laughed it off and thought it was funny. But because he's doing that, and because he's getting out of hand with some of the things like the YouTube video of him going poopies and flushing down $20 bills or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff I think is a joke. But I do think that his path so far with his choice of opponent is very interesting. And I think we're going to see a lot, or at least have a different opinion of him, should he put and take out Marcos Maidana. Interesting contrast of opponents. Now, Maidana was always vicious at junior welterweight. When he moved up to welterweight, he still did okay, but he didn't seem to pack the punch that he had. When Broner moved directly into the welterweight division and fought Paulie Malignaggi, he didn't knock out Paulie. Now, that's not saying that he doesn't have knockout power at the welterweight division. We got to give Paulie Malignaggi credit for having a pretty damn solid chin. But with that said, you know, he very well, you know, may have, what's the word I'm looking for? He may have jumped the weight class too much. Maidana is going to be a good test for that. Now, Maidana likes to stand in front of his opponents, and he likes to wail away at his opponent. I think Adrian Broner kind of likes that better. He kind of likes it when fighters come at him, and he can use his athletic ability to beat them. Paulie presented a different case. You know, styles make fights. I think we're going to see a good performance with Adrian Broner against Marcos. After the break, We got the officials. We're going to talk about the officials for Canelo and Mayweather. We also got the numbers for Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s guaranteed purse. Just what the sport needs, another sanctioning body. We got some updates on Roberto Duran and Chris Arreola and all that stuff. And don't forget, we got Dax Khan scheduled to join us at the top of the hour. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Humberto Soto, he's going to be fighting again, not too distant away, or I should say not too far away in the future. And King Carlos Molina, he gets a shot at a world title, and I think he might even get that one. E.C. Smith was one of these fighters that I did not think was going to hold on to his belt very long, but as it turns out, he's going to be making the first title defense of his world title, which incidentally, after all the fights being held in Las Vegas, E.C. Smith is the first native Las Vegian to win a world title, which shocks the hell out of me. But it might only be one and done for him. But ironically, now he gets to make his title defense in Las Vegas. If you recall, originally he was scheduled to fight earlier. He hurt his hand, or his opponent hurt his hand. I forgot the story. But it was not going to be in Vegas, so now he's going to get to fight in Vegas. Hey, listen, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, we'll get rid of, or I should say, we'll read through the last email. We'll remind you about the fight week next week. We'll talk about the purses and all those things I just said, man. I'll be right back.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action from world-class boxing.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day. Everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. Well, I guess the new and improved streaming capabilities from YouTube is not doing too well. But you know, it could be our service here. It might be coming from here, because it seems like everything on my end is running slow today. We got. Even Fight Now TV hasn't even connected yet, and they're used to be on right now, you know. And we got, and just as I say that, I want to welcome the Fight Now TV audience that's just joining us right now. And given quality is right, I am going to have to use some IT skills to fix that. But what we're going to do is probably drop. That's when it started going downhill. Now, I like the idea, and what they're trying to do is do exactly what, you know, Golden Boy's trying to do right now, and Top Rank's trying to do. They're all trying to copy Dana White. They're all trying to, you know, find their alliance with a network, and, you know, have their alliance with their specific fighters, and have their fighters fight each other, and blah, 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 you know, and they control it. Well, the World Series of Boxing started doing that, and some of the other sanctioning bodies got pissed off because they were pulling from the pool of fighters. Now, as of now, I know they're battling it out. As of now, Destro, the World Series of Boxing, the fights that these young fighters are fighting are counting towards their professional record. Now, Lomachenko, which supposedly was making his pro debut soon, and then possibly fighting for a world title in his second pro fight, that's not the case anymore, because according to Fight Facts, which is the official fight record company for professional boxing, has been counting all of the World Series of Boxing fights as professional fights. And we saw it with some of our Olympians, at least the United States Olympians. You know, all of a sudden they got multiple fights on. And the truth of the matter is in professional sports, you get paid In amateur sports, at least here in the United States, you don't. And that's the big difference here. And by the way, the World Series of Boxing, the numbers that they were talking about, if you join that league, so to speak, and you fought with teams. So it would be team whatever, Team Mexico against, and the United States had several teams of their country. And I don't think it's an even playing field. When we put our dream team in there, in basketball way back in the day, when the best basketball player ever played, nobody was going to beat us. It was a shock for anybody to even come within 20 points of the dream team. So anyway, but interesting stuff, and we'll see how that unfolds. They're battling it out right now. He says, I would have all the confidence. This is Destro. He says, I would have all the confidence in the world in Canelo if I heard he used Mackie Shilstone or Victor Conte in his camp, but he didn't. Canelo's work rate is a bigger Achilles heel than his lack of experience. Prior to the fight with Trout, I felt Canelo would beat Floyd at 154. Even with the knockdown, I scored the Trout fight a draw, and now Canelo has to go down to 152. He says also Floyd made a joke when he said he was going to go for the knockout. As far as I can remember, the last true knockout Floyd had was Sean B. Mitchell. Most fans probably never even heard of Sean B. Mitchell. I can't count the Hatton knockout or the Victor Ortiz knockout. Well, why can't you count the Hatton knockout? I mean, the Ricky Hatton knockout by Floyd was a legit knockout. I didn't like that Joe Cortez didn't let Ricky Hatton fight Floyd in close like he always fought for his whole career. But you can't say that wasn't a legitimate knockout. The Victor Ortiz one, I agree with you. We talked about that yesterday. But Sean B. Mitchell was the last knockout. But you got to give him credit for the Ricky Hatton knockout, I think. He says if Victor did do that to Floyd, Joe Cortez would have disqualified. Ridiculous. I heard people tell me, if you watch the film, he signaled to the timekeeper. He told them to fight and all this stuff. I don't want to hear any of that crap, because any referee, even an amateur referee, will tell you in the case of a knockdown, you're supposed to send both fighters, or even in a case and where he deducted 2 points, what you're supposed to do is you stop the action. You call time. You stop the action, you send fighter A to the neutral corner, and then you take fighter B, if it's the fighter B who committed the foul, and you walk him around to the three judges, and you say 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. And after they record it, and they all know that you're deducting 2 points from him, you send fighter B to his neutral corner. Now you got the two fighters in neutral corners. You look over at the timekeeper, you signal time in, and you bring the two fighters together. That is the procedure. That's refereeing 101. And apparently not in Joe Cortez's refereeing school that he has. He doesn't do that. He focuses on, coming up with a catchphrase. So I believe that Joe Cortez really is to blame. Yes, I was critical of Floyd Mayweather in that fight, but if anybody has to be blamed, I don't blame Floyd. I think Floyd, was trying to make a point. I just think it was a punk move, but I can't blame him as much as I blame Joe Cortez in that situation. As far as Canelo, and he goes on to say, if Floyd loses, he say he was too focused on the knockout. If Canelo loses, he's going to say it was the weight. I think Canelo should just weigh in somewhere between 154 and 156. Listen. Should Floyd lose, which is very unlikely, but should Floyd lose, you could bet your last dollar that he's going to make an excuse, and so's all his fans. If Floyd Mayweather should lose, which I don't think he will, but should he lose, and he acts like a man and says, hey, Canelo was the better man on the night, you know what, I'll tell you right now, Given Quality is in the chat room right now. If he does that, he will become my best fighter. He'll become my favorite fighter. Everything else, you can't complain about the weight. So as far as Floyd making a joke about going for the knockout, I don't think it's a joke. I think Floyd definitely wants to knock out Canelo. Think about this. If Floyd knocks out Canelo, and this is something that Given Quality's been telling me for about 2 months now, he says, don't be surprised if Floyd stands in front of Canelo, just like I say he's not going to do, and give him quality. He says, don't be surprised if he stands there and just beats the hell out of him and ends up getting a knockout. And, I would be surprised. But, hey, if Floyd very well may be trying to shut guys like me up. And he very well may be trying to be more aggressive and be more engaging. We'll see. We're going to see next Saturday. He's got his chance to do it. I know Leonard Ellaby and everybody else in the Mayweather camp is saying, oh, he's fighting the best available fighter and everything else. I don't know about that, but there's not much choice out there. He waited long enough, and I agreed with what Alex was saying yesterday. I think a Sergio Martinez fight would have been great. With Floyd, not now, because Sergio Martinez isn't. He's a half of a fighter now. I would have loved to have seen Antonio Margarito in Floyd when Antonio Margarito was dominating. Back then, I would have liked to have seen that. And of course, I would have liked to have seen Manny Pacquiao fight Floyd. Floyd is scared of Manny Pacquiao. He's scared of him. And the reason why is because he's not 100% sure that he can beat Manny. Manny is smaller, and Floyd's more skilled, and Floyd's a better fighter. All those things, I agree. Floyd's got more better. I think that Canelo Alvarez is going to win. I was shocked. One of the guys, my man, nobody here, sent me a link to the one, whatever it's called, the one, the great one, or whatever the fight is called, and I'm shocked that the higher percentage of the people are picking Canelo Alvarez to win the fight. I think he's at 52%. Of the votes, at least when I looked at it earlier, 52% of the people voting have picked Canelo to beat Mayweather, and 48% have picked Mayweather to win the fight. So I'm a little surprised at that. But hey, that's what we got. That's why they fight. That's why they got to fight. So thanks for the email from everybody on that one. We do have the officials were named, and we started talking about this yesterday for a little bit. And, I don't know what to think about the officials. First and foremost, today, let me read you a quote from Oscar De La Hoya. And yesterday I was saying that, the big thing about Oscar De La Hoya yesterday, the big thing about my issue yesterday with the officials was I'm not so sure the one is the one CJ Ross. I don't think she's capable. But my train of thought that I just lost and have gotten back here. One of the things that I was saying yesterday, I'm wondering how Floyd feels. If Floyd is laughing it, yucking it up with his cronies, or if he's saying, I can't believe that these guys actually think that I'm going to lose this fight. I can't believe it. Who knows what they're thinking. As far as the officials, in case you missed it yesterday, one of the guys in the chat room filled me in on it. Here's the thing for the main fight, which is of course Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez. Kenny Bayless is the referee. And the three judges that have been assigned to it is Dave Moretti, who I actually know personally, and I feel good about him. He's a good referee. There's no question about that. But the other two, I'm very I don't know if a red flag goes up, if a question mark flag goes up. I don't know. But CJ Ross has time and time again proven that she's not that good. She scores some weird stuff. I just don't, I'm not a big fan of C.J. Ross. I can't believe that Ross got the assignment for this fight. And I got to be 100% honest. I have no idea who Craig Metcalf is. Craig Metcalf. Who's that? For arguably the biggest fight of the year, maybe even the biggest fight in the last 5 years. How does he get it? I don't understand. Why not award Did Canelo win a WBC belt? Yeah, he must have. So he must have because he must have won the WBC belt, and the other super welterweight belt, the junior welterweight belt, that's the WBA. That's Floyd's. Remember the one he won from Cotto, and then Floyd happens to have the WBC welterweight belt. So there's a lot of confusion going on with belts. So apparently there's multi-belts on the line. The WBA super welterweight champion fight will be sanctioned by the WBA and I guess by the WBC. So as far as the supervisor for that belt, Gilberto Jesus Mendoza will be there. They don't even mention the other supervisor for the WBC, and I would think that there would have to be a supervisor for there as well. But anyway, the other thing is for the Danny Garcia and Lucas Matisse fight, Tony Weeks got the nod as the referee, and the judges are Robert Hoyle, Glenn Trowbridge, and Jurgen Langos. Again, not the most popular and not the most well-known judges in Vegas. I mean, Vegas has so many judges that we hear about all the time. I don't know about you, but to me, it seems strange, man. It seems strange that, the biggest fight of the year, and like I said earlier, arguably the biggest fight in 5 years, would have sense, because if Floyd loses this fight, damn well that the rematch. Listen, I said that Floyd is going to go hide and all of this stuff. He's gonna, but eventually he's going to have a rematch with this guy. And if Floyd loses this fight and Canelo Alvarez and Floyd have a rematch, that fight, now they're talking about this one, the one, breaking all the records and everything else. We'll get to that in a little bit. But could you imagine what the numbers would be for a rematch of this fight? I mean, talk about dollars made. So if you don't think that the boxing world outside of Mayweather Promotions and Given Quality and everyone else in the city of Las Vegas that's involved with Showtime, that's involved with anything, all the if you go to that website and you vote, you see there you got all the stuff, the souvenirs and stuff like that's all for sale. You can buy all of that merchandising, all of that money, that extra money, that extra bonus for everybody will be way more. So dollars and cents, a rematch would be great. And it makes me wonder, are they picking people to give Alvarez the best shot at winning this fight? Floyd very well may be. Now, I'm all yucking it up. I'm all laughing about this. I'm saying Floyd is going to have an easy time in this fight. And he may. But then now I'm starting to look, and for the first time ever, I'm starting to say to myself, I hope they don't question on the purse and some other stuff. Chris Arreola's got some statements. We're going to take a short break. When I come back, we're scheduled to have Dax Khan come on. He's going to give us a boxing schedule roundup. I'll get some of his early thoughts on the fight, some thoughts on the big fights from this weekend. We keep looking towards next week, but we got some great fights scheduled for this weekend. All of that's coming up in about 2.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretch of that man, I
would think. You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York and the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.kofantasyboxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.kofantasyboxing.com. Join it today.
I just wanted to talk some boxing on to you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Glad you could join us. And, man, for everybody that's trying to watch the stream, that's why you need to get Fight Now TV, man, because they don't have that problem. You know, we're having some growing pains with a new streaming service. And I think we just figured out maybe what the problem is. But I will tell you this. You may be seeing some choppy video and stuff. I heard the sound is okay, but you're not having any problems with Fight Now, so call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. And it's real simple. Pick up the phone and call. For all the information about the channel, visit the website, www.fightnow.com. Don't forget to follow them on Twitter and mention Billy C and that you want to see more of us. That's all, man. Tell them. You know, you got to ask. You got to ask, and you shall receive. Speaking of receiving, we're about to receive Dax Khan. He joins us right now. What's up, brother?
What's going on, guys?
Well, apparently, according to my man, I set the wrong settings for our new streaming company, so that's why it's so choppy, and I can't change it back right now. So, everybody's going to have to listen to the show now, unless they're watching on Fight Now or watch the replay. But
Brack is going in against the WBO 154-pound female champion, Alexandria Castillo. Alexandria is only 18 years old, Bill. We talked about this off the air earlier today. She has an undefeated record. She's 12-0. She has 2 draws. 9 of those 12 wins come by KO. Those 2 draws came early in her career. One was against real tough Cindy Serrano when Alexandria was only 15. So Brackus is in for a long night. I'm going to say it now. I wouldn't doubt if we see a new welterweight champion that night in the female division. In Chiapas, Mexico, and Mexico Azteca TV and USA Unimas, Moses Fuentes will defend his interim WBO light flyweight title against Luis De La Rosa. In Glasgow, Scotland, on United Sky TV, USA Wealth TV, Matchroom Boxing presents a lightweight world title headliner when the division's WBO champion Ricky Burns defends his belt against rugged Raymondo Beltran. On the undercard, a battle of undefeated cruiserweights will take place between Steven Simmons and David Graff. One claims the vacant WBC International Silver Cruiserweight title. At Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, California, on Showtime Denmark 3 Sport TV, in what appears to be a career-saving bout for both men, heavyweight Seth Mitchell and Chris Arreola battle for the WBC International and WBO NABO heavyweight title belts. Future Hall of Famer featherweight Rafael Marquez takes on Efrain Esquives, and former world title holder Rico Ramos will meet undefeated hard hitter Carlos Ivan Velasquez in a featherweight belt.
Sounds like a busy weekend, bro.
It is a busy weekend, feast of famine, and like we were talking about earlier today, if people go and they want to look at this, since we're not going to, next week, we have the Billy C Fight Week special for Canelo Alvarez, if people look around and see what the schedule is worldwide for the 14th of September, it's an amazing guard a little bit. He comes in a little bit overconfident. I mean, Beltran has a chance, but I look for Ricky Burns to beat him fairly easily.
What about the big fight, the heavyweight fight, Seth Mitchell and Chris Arreola?
If this was before the Bermain-Stavern fight, I'd have definitely went with Chris Arreola, but since then, I really don't know. But again, Seth Mitchell, he has some punching power, he has some pop. On the other hand, though, look who a lot of that pop has been against. We know Chris Arreola can take a punch. He's taken it from some guys a lot better than Seth Mitchell, a lot harder hitting than Seth Mitchell. And Seth Mitchell's chin isn't exactly known to be the best, so I'm going to leave that as what version of Chris Arreola comes to the arena that night? The one that just left Tico Tacos or the one that's been in the ring for 6 weeks? If the one that's been in the gym for 6 weeks, the one that's been in the gym for 6 weeks is going to win easily by knockout. I don't give it more than 5. The one that just comes from Tico Tacos is going to look like an idiot.
Yeah, well, I it's an interesting fight, because, we had Seth Mitchell on earlier in the week, and, he's confident, and I think he learned something with the Jonathan, I always say, Jonathan Banks fight. when he fought him the second time, using his head a little bit instead of just charging him. But I don't know, man. I think that Chris Arreola is clearly the better skilled fighter. And I don't know, man. I think I agree. I think Chris Arreola, whether he comes from Tico Tacos or not, I think he's going to. I think he'll get robbed.
He won't get robbed. He won't get robbed because remember, money's the name of this game. And even as you were saying before about how much money a lucrative rematch could make, Floyd Mayweather, he's a smart guy. Not only inside the ring, but he's smart business-wise. And Floyd Mayweather is not going to agree to sign with a set of officials that he feels he's going to get the raw deal on. The O is very important to him, whether you love it or you hate it. For him, it's very important. And Floyd, he values that O, and he likes to earn that O. And I don't think that he's going to allow himself to get set up. Basically it'd be like. Let's say, you're one of those old guys that are retired that likes to have yourself a nice convertible, and, to attract the young girls, are you going to park it over next to where it's going to get scratched up in the supermarket? No. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. That O is what he holds on to so dear. He doesn't care about the titles. He cares about that O, and he's not going to allow that O to get taken from him by corrupt judges.
Yeah, but, first of all, he can't say about that. I don't know.
Floyd would find a way not to fight if he really thought that was the case. He'd find a way. I'm not saying that, that's like he's ducking Canelo or saying that, he'd find a way to get out of the fight because he's afraid of Canelo. But, if Floyd's seen something like, hey, look, the deck is being stacked against me, he's not going to go into a fight like that. Either that or, I'm sorry, all of this knockout talk is just, I just don't see it happening. Yeah, we don't know if Canelo has the greatest of chins, but hey, Floyd Mayweather.
Struggling with the stream that I messed up. I apologize for that. If you switch over to www.ldltv.com, there is a backup in place so you can see the video a little better without the choppiness, so we apologize for that. Dax, back to you. It just seems to me that and to little Johnny over there in the third row, you put down that popcorn. Okay, Dax, back to you. The thing is this. I look at this and I'm starting to see like these silly little things that I didn't realize before, and it's starting to come in focus. And I'm almost thinking that given quality, like somehow sent me some Kool-Aid or something, and I drank it by mistake because I'm looking at. Number one, you hear about this gazillion-dollar championship belt, right? And then I'm realizing that, well, wait a minute, the belts that are really on the line are the WBA belt. I mean that's the one Floyd has. Right. Canelo, he has. He doesn't have. Does he have the Floyd has the WBC. So Canelo's got the W.
Well, Canelo had both of them, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he? Didn't he take Trout's?
Well, he took Trout's, right. But was Trout the WBC or IBF?
Yeah, Trout was the WBA champion. Trout took that title from Cotto.
No, that's not true. Floyd took that belt from Cotto. Cotto didn't have that belt.
Then Trout had it. Yes, that's right. Trout got it. And, now you got me all confused here. For more money because he was going to be the bigger draw, and boxing lost a lot of fans. I mean, long-time fans over that. And, with, the struggle that boxing's gone through over the last 7 or 8 years, especially with the competition of the UFC, right now it would just be detrimental to the sport as, we were just talking about before, boxing's just on a rise. To do something like this would be foolish. It really would. It would be foolish for all involved. And, we had the money, but it would be money for who? A certain few people, not for the sport as a whole. People forget, and this is what aggravates me, Billy, about boxing so much. And, for some people who want in the chat room or on Facebook or whether it be Twitter or, listeners to the show that say, oh, why do you hate, I don't hate Floyd Mayweather. I don't dislike Floyd Mayweather. It's just there is more to boxing than Floyd Mayweather. Just like when Floyd wasn't around and it was Manny Pacquiao. There's more to boxing than Manny Pacquiao. Ricky Hatton for a while, that Ricky Hatton bandwagon. There's more to boxing than Ricky Hatton, so I look at the sport as a whole. I love the sport as a whole, and whether it be Floyd Mayweather or whether it be a guy that, a 1-on-1 to see, well, I'd be totally disgusted. I'd be ashamed to be part of the sport that, been involved in the sport for, 20 years now. I'd be ashamed.
Well, first of all, I agree with you that there's no way that a loss destroys destroys Canelo Alvarez's career. There's no way it does. Everybody's going to forget it and everything else. But a win, I think all those fights you mentioned do open up. A fight with Triple G opens up. A fight with Chavez Jr. should he ever get to middleweight again, which we don't think.
I don't think he wins those fights.
Well, we don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude,
if he
beats
he's not going to continuously walk through those top guys.
But if he beats Floyd, first of all, I don't think he's going to beat Floyd. But if he beats Floyd, why couldn't he beat the other guys? I mean, listen, if he beats Floyd, it's going to be tough to convince me that he's not going to be competitive with these other fighters that we're talking about. I'm just saying that money-wise.
I'm speaking about if he beats Floyd in the manner that we're discussing. If they rob Floyd on the cards. If they rob Floyd on the cards, he's going to have to go in there against these other guys, and they're not going to rob them all.
No, first of all,
eventually, those losses will hurt his career.
If he robs Floyd on the cards, and it's not him,
need to recover from it.
Yeah, but listen, man, if it's an out robbery, if it was Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley again,
that wasn't an out robbery.
Yes, in my opinion, it was. That was an out robbery. I think that Manny Pacquiao won that fight hands down.
I spoke to a lot of people that were there from the press, and and a lot of guys, where they were sitting above the ring. It's a lot of those punches didn't seem to land, but that's for another day. But I don't think it was that big of a even if you wanted to call it a robbery, it wasn't like that big of a robbery.
Well, it
wasn't like one of those. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Robbery.
Yeah, I do think it was. Oh my God, what happened? What are we looking at? And here's the funny part about that whole situation. Everybody was saying that. Now, okay? And then Pacquiao gets knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez.
And then he wastes the whole memory of it, right?
Now he lost 2 in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now everybody, he lost 2 in a row.
But I understand totally 100% what you're saying. There's a trickle-down effect, but the majority of that hit will take place in the United States, and the fans over there, the promoters over there will go on business as usual. It affected promoters here. It affected top-ranked promotion companies. It affected the Bellas and stuff like that. It affected promoters that work here in the United States, that are based out of the United States. But something, it's not going to, and the fans that, say, what the heck, because I'm not buying the pay-per-views, I'm not watching the pay-per-views, but it's not going to affect the stuff that happens over in the other countries, because the fans are still going to attend there, because they're still going to follow their hometown people. The Sauerlands are still going to pack the arenas. Japan is still going to pack the arenas. Cardiff Stadium is still going to stay packed. Warren is still going to get buys on Sky TV. Denmark won, SPAG won, Polstat, they're not going to, they'll lose a little money, but they're not going to take the hit like they will here over in the States, like the HBOs and the Showtimes will.
I don't know, man. Let me ask you this. Carlos Molina is going to be on the undercard. He's fighting Ishii Smith on the Mayweather-Alvarez undercard. And originally Ishii Smith was supposed to also does a lot of pay-per-views, because I remember I used to get the schedule, and they have a lot of the pay-per-views. So, they buy the rights to it there. So they'll be able to make some money too, but neither here nor there. Chris Arreola, you were talking about him and his new taco stand, but he says, and I quote, "I feel really motivated for this fight." He says, "Is he tough?" Meaning Seth Mitchell. He says, "Maybe." Does he hit hard? Maybe. But I feel that I'm the superior fighter, and it's my time to make it known. I think that pretty much sums it up. Chris Arreola has had a lot of opportunities, and he's been in there with definitely the better opposition. And he's also said in the press conference yesterday that, this is his chance to show that he still belongs. I believe him. I thought he looked good in some of the promotional shots I saw. Well, I mean, what do you think?
I've heard this from Chris Arreola before. We heard this about, Chris Arreola before he went in against Thomas Adamek. I'm the bigger guy. I'm the stronger guy. Thomas is coming up in weight. He's declining in skills. We heard it before the Bermain-Stavern fight. I remember a couple years ago, I wrote an article. People can look into the archives on our site, www.BillyCBoxing.com, where, and the title of the article was, Chris Arreola, the man we wished was a heavyweight champion, because he had everything. He was exciting. He went back and forth. He took punches. He gave punches. Great chin on him. But, look what he's done since then. It's all Not every fight is going to be, 2 pound for pound guys. Not every fight is going to be a title fight, and that's what makes this sport so great. Remember, it's always, hey, before they became great, who were they? So when you follow the careers of guys, that's what makes it exciting. So, yes, there's plenty of fights, and we spoke about this for probably the last 2 years now. Outside the Klitschko's, there's a lot of good fights to be made at heavyweight if they're made correctly.
Right. No, I hear you. Dax, great job as usual, and we'll be looking forward to you next week.
Guys starting out from the beginning, just a shout-out to my man in the chat room, Renan the Reaper Ruiz, who, we're following his story and his trek as a professional. Tomorrow, the second edition of, Journey to the Life of the Reaper is going to come out, So just a big shout to him for coming out and listening to us.
Sounds good, man, and I didn't realize that was him, but that's good.
Yeah, sent over to you, and that's the Reaper right there. That's the man. Last 2 wins by knockout. Devastating body puncher, this kid is. I'm telling you, you talk about Canelo being a body puncher. This kid is an amazing body puncher, and you know what? In a few years, we're going to be talking about him on the show.
Hey, Reaper, you can send the $20 that you were going to send Dax for this shout out. You can send it to me, man. Dude, I'll talk.
Have a good night.
All right, man. Take care. That's Dax Khan, and look for the second part. As a matter of fact, the first part is up in Dax's column, so you can always check that out. And I didn't realize that it was the same guy. I see all the handles in there. And one quick note for everybody that is watching. If you're watching on Fight Now TV, you don't have an issue. But
as Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. Glad you could join ahead. And, this is a good fight. 2 young fighters going at it. Jazza Dickens is being promoted by Hennessy Sports. I believe Kid Galahad is with Hennessy. Jazza Dickens is with Ricky Hatton, and Ricky Hatton had put his money on his own fighters in his own fighters basket, and he said Kid Galahad is tricky and likes to move, but so does my man Jazza. He says he's quick, he's strong, he was a top amateur, and so he has the boxing brain to suss out Kid's style. He says, I've said before that I think Jazza is a bit of a dark horse at this weight, and I think he can surprise a few people with a fantastic performance. Now, one of the things also that took place is that Ricky Hatton has had one of his longtime nemesis in boxing has been Junior Witter. And although later in Witter's career, a lot of people over in England called him Junior Witter the Quitter. But Junior Witter actually is backing Jazza Dickens as well. And Ricky had a comment about that. He said Junior's obviously going to stay loyal to his stablemate, and that's because Junior Witter works out with Jazza Dickens. He says, I'm Jazza's promoter, so I'm loyal to my fighter. He says, I don't think this fight's going to be a lot of what people are predicting. I think it's a real pick 'em fight, but I think Jazza will close the battle. But anyway, and by the way, I was wrong about Witter. He's supporting the other side, Kid Galahad. So I was all mixed up there. Witter the quitter fight and against a tough prospect. Mahori Montes is 28-2 with a draw with 21 knockouts. The fight's going to take place September 28th. It will take place in Mexico. They're fighting for some kind of intercontinental belt. So Humberto Soto staying busy there. Two other things I want to mention before we start to wrap it up here. Number one, remember we were talking about the Roberto Duran and the Jorge Castro fight, and there was a lot of confusion about whether that fight was going to be a real fight, whether it was an exhibition, all that stuff. Well, we figured it out, and it was definitely being called an exhibition. It's a 3-round exhibition. It's taking place this weekend, and Jorge Castro fought Roberto Duran twice in a couple of tough fights. Now, Roberto Duran is 62 years old. And I don't know if you saw some of the publicity shots. He looks pretty damn good. He's looked a lot worse. He's looked a lot worse in the past. I've seen him look twice as heavy in the past. But I will tell you this, Castro looks great. I mean, he's 46, so, he's, 5-6 years younger than me, but he looks great. And, I got some quotes from the final press conference that took place yesterday. And Jorge Castro, now, obviously he speaks Spanish, and obviously somebody interpreted this and wrote it. But it's a really interesting, and I'm not sure how to take this quote, but check this out. Jorge Castro said, my friend, and by the way, this whole fight that Jorge Castro is doing in Argentina is a farewell fight. I don't know why he's doing it now. It's not like he was fighting last week, but it's an official farewell fight. It's taking place at Luna Stadium. And I'll finish with the quotes from Duran. He says, I'm happy to participate in such an important night for my friend and all the Argentine people. As I've said before, with Jorge, we all know and admire each other. He's an idol, seriously, and he's had a lot of memorable fights. This boy here had 144 fights. He won 130. Did you hear that? 144 fights. That not done by anyone. More than me? When he laughs, he says, that doesn't happen today. There are many greats in history, but few have as many victories and are idols for more than a decade. When they offered me to come here, I didn't even hesitate. I happily canceled all of my commitments, first, because it was Castro, and second, Jorge's my friend. I'm honored to be here with him and all the Argentines. I'm going to step into that ring. My doctor advised me before I came not to do anything that had to do with boxing, but I have the desire to do this and do this for my friend. So I came to have a good time with him in his house. I don't know what to think about this whole situation. I mean, is he going to come and look like two whores in a hotel room with boxing gloves on and fighting with pillows or something? I mean, are these guys going to be hugging and kissing and going through the motions? Are they charging people to basically see a choreographed sparring? All of the sanctioning bodies are going to work together and have unified champion? No. I know boxing needs that too, but that's not what they need. What it really needs, and I'm sure you all agree with me, is another sanctioning body, right? Wrong. Can you believe it was announced yesterday that there's a new sanctioning body, and it's called the American Boxing Association? Now, it was just sanctioned. Now, you have to be sanctioned. The ABC, the American Boxing, American Boxing the Association of Boxing Commissions is the ABC. They approved, and all the paperwork has been submitted, and it's been made official that the ABA, the American Boxing Association, has been formed. And here's what it's about. It's going to feature 17 weight classes, which is about, 9 too many, but whatever. 17 weight classes, or I should say, 9 too many. They're going to have championships for both men and women. And here's the stipulation. It's only open to American fighters who are American citizens. Now, they mentioned that, hey, other countries have it. Britain, they have it, the Commonwealth champions. Africa has the All-African champions. Japan has the Japanese champions and all this stuff. And now the ABA, the American Boxing Association, says that only Americans can win the England belt because that was the primary belt in boxing. But at some point in time, the American titles, they kind of went away. And we do have American titles. They're called North American belts. The WBC has an American belt. It's called the NABF. The WBF, the World Boxing Federation, has a North American title. I was just involved with the World Boxing Federation's North American Light Heavyweight Championship. They all have it. This is a smoke screen. The only difference that this sanctioning body is doing is they're closing the door to anyone that's not A, American, and B, born in America. So you can't even move over here. You can't even be King Kong Agbeko or Joshua Clottey that come over from another country and reside in America. You can't fight for the belt unless you became a citizen. Now, they didn't say natural citizen. They said citizen. So we'll see what happens. But quite honestly, I mean, do we need another one? I mean, come on. How many champions do we need? How many sanctioning bodies do we need? I don't know, man. Anyway, I figured you guys would love that. Here's the thing. Tomorrow we're going to be going over our Billy C challenge. Now, a couple of notes on the challenge. We submitted. Whoever's involved in the challenge already got their fights for tomorrow and for next week. All right, because we will be doing the Fight Week special next week. So the fights are in. Now, if you still want to join, you can. You won't get this week's fights. BillyCBoxing.com and LDL TV. It'll be available for free to everyone. We will be airing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You could check it out. And then on Saturday, we got some special stuff going up. On Saturday, beginning at 8 p.m., you could tune in to both of those locations and catch the replay of Sal Senecola's historical landmark fight. This was just approved today by the Guinness Book of World Records. He's officially got his award, and he made the longest comeback in history, over 25 years between fights, and was successful in that fight, his comeback fight. I called the action ringside in Fernando Beach, Florida, along with my man Nate Campbell. So we're going to replay that fight for you. 4-round fight, an excellent fight, as a matter of fact, especially for a 53-year-old, but even for a 23-year-old, it's an excellent fight. We're going to replay that, and as soon as that fight is finished, we're going to go into Mayweather-Alvarez mode, and we are going to start talking about the fight. We're going to have phone lines open. We are not going to broadcast the fight. We won't have the video of the fight, and we will not be giving blow by blow. But as soon as the pay-per-view event starts, that means all three of the championship fights that will be on the pay-per-view we'll be talking about live on LDL TV and also BillyCBoxing.com. So you can check that out and also call in. Now, why do you want to call in? Because we want your thoughts, we want your opinions, and we want to give you some prizes. I got hundreds of GRUMEZA.com, or visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click on one of the Gentleman Boxer banners, and it will take you to Ian's website or Amazon, wherever. Now, if you want a signed copy, email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. The trivia question is also being brought to us by the Titty Grab game. That's right. If you love titties as much as I love titties, then you're going to love the Titty Grab game. And yeah, it comes with a titty, and it's designed for adults to hang around. Maybe you know, well, you got to have boys and girls. You got to have some boys and you got to have some girls, and you got to have a couple of drinks, and you got to play this game. Get yourself a copy. All the information about the game can be found at their website, www.tittygrab.com. If you can't remember that, just go click the banner, which is up on BillyCBoxing.com. And yeah, it comes with a titty. Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia question, which is supplied to us by our very own trivia question guru, Henry Haskup, is a good one, and nobody's gotten it right so far. I got a couple of really good prize options for you if you get this right. The first one to email me, Billy at TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com, will get a choice of a couple of really good prizes. Here's the question. Who scored the Who scored the most stoppages in 1 year? Who scored the most stoppages in 1 year? If you know that answer, email me, Billy at TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. Who scored the most stoppages? 99. On this day, September 5th, in 1930, Tommy Freeman wins a 15-round decision over young Jack Thompson to win the world welterweight title. That took place in Cleveland. On this day, September 5th, in 1987, Chang Ho Choi knocks out Dodi Penalusa in the 11th round to win the IBF world flyweight title, and that took place in the Philippines. On this day, September 5th, in 1892, Dax Khan was born. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. In 1892, Jack McAuliffe knocks out Billy Meyer in the 15th round to retain his world lightweight title, and that took place in New Orleans in 1892. On this day, in September 5th, in 1904, Sam Langford and Joe Walcott fight to a 15-round draw. Most people in attendance thought Langford beat Walcott very easily. And at the end of the fight, Walcott's whole face was disfigured, and it was obvious that he lost that fight. However, the fight was ruled a draw, which enabled Joe Walcott to retain his world welterweight title. That fight took place in Manchester, New Hampshire. And finally, on this day, September 5th, in 1910,